try to get to y'all early in the morning when I'm, as my grandmother says, fresh, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Hey, Pat Hosley, I thank you for entrusting counsel with everything. I thank you for trusting us. I have yet to decide whether or not I'm going to take on the responsibility of being a trustee to your estate. That is a very, very heavy and weighty responsibility. When I make that choice, I will immediately contact you and we will go from there. We have to meet. I have to know you. I have to know your wishes, your will. What do you want done with the generational wealth? How do you want it structured? It's your decisions, though. And the document, the living and the dying will be signed by you and executed by the trustee that you trust. We're going into civil order today. Civil Order, July 4th, 2014. Unified Maine Common Law Grand Jury. David Robinson. 3 Linnell Circle, Brunswick, Maine, 04011. Phone number 207-798-4695. Email drobin88@comcast.net. Lex Naturals de Gracia. I don't know the name of all of these titles, but you have to research. The Pope's Civil Order, 2014 Civil Order to Barack Obama. Psalm 89:14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. We're going to get into this thing, boy, because, oh, boy, look, this man bad. Y'all want to talk about the Pope. I know his government name. The Pope's bad, okay? It's a bad man. You can't disrespect them because their intelligence afforded them the privilege of being the controllers or the owners. Look, that's what he did. He running this ecclesiastical body, boy. That's the Pope, man. He got the thing sold up. And this letter proves he's for the Moors and for justice and for righteousness. This is what he sent with his fingerprint. That's his fingerprint right there on this civil order. That's his. Of the whole entire corporate body, he owns them. Let me read it to you. Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Service, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services. These organic American states of the Union, also known as the United States of America, Major. First he calls himself Major, an adult. Exercising plenty civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the Grand Army of the Republic and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Man, this man gets into it. Alright, I'm just stay with me for a little bit. We're getting into it right now. Should it become necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces, that's the police, operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, that's the feds, that's the the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, that's the alcohol, the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Alcohol. Okay, well, operating under the guise. Didn't he just say they got a mask on and they operating? Of being federal government agencies, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, etc. General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America Major. So they owe him this. These services. They owe him for being on this land as an ecclesiastical body that's backing them. He owns them. Stationed in North America, and joined them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. Any cost or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. Listen to this man, because he about to go in on him, I'm telling you. All efforts shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the states of the Union without exception. The Guard is uniquely enabled by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purpose of securing the lives and properties of the American states and American state citizens. You're going to get a little bit turned around because he said citizens, but we're going to show you why he said citizens in a minute. The Guard is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. Y'all gonna hear a little bit of, background, so bear with me while I'm dispensing this information. If required to take field position, the local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority and the reasons for their presence on American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and a widespread understanding of the usurpations and acts of frauds which have led to any conflict. All parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its own authority. He just said all parties must be brought to understand the nature of the federal government, the limitations of its authority, and their own obligation to act in favor of the organic states. The organic states is Al Morocco. The organic states is the Articles of Confederation and the organic 50 states that are not corporations, but let's see. So you have county of, which makes it a corporation, and then you have whatever the name of the state is, republic, which makes it organic. Anytime you get any corresponding mail from county of something, then that's a corporation billing you. And since you, the living being, can't injure a corporation, they don't need to be billing you nothing. A living being needs to bill you, a bonded living being that has wealth, that you're injuring, you're hindering its ability, their ability to make wealth, their estate ability to make wealth. That's the only one that can be billing you. So return those bills, return the sender. And then if they cut off your lights, tell them you're Aboriginal or that you're a citizen or that you triple seal name changed and reverted or converted from the de facto government and you're indigenous and they can't be taxing you like that. You're not subject. Then you get a foreign EIN number and operate your corporate name under a business in your full all-caps name, and now you're a foreign entity, a foreign corporation. They can't tax foreign entities. So go do that. Go register your name in the IRS, get an EIN number, make sure it's foreign, make sure you check trust. I'm going to give y'all that document after this video. When you check trust, then you're going to have a foreign EIN number sent to you. That foreign EIN number is going to prevent them from taxing your corporate name. Then you put all of your bills in your corporate entity name, and they can't tax you. They can't even bill you. If they do, they have to provide proof that you injured their corporation in order for you to provide remedy, that is. Oh, now we about to look. It say, the Grand Army of the Republic shall continue to operate under General Order 100, known as the Lieber Code, extant from the pen of the last Republic President Abraham Lincoln. You see, and John Hanson, Amunra, was the first Republic President. Oh, Y'all about to see how y'all free today. No orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as President of the United States Corporation, nor as the President of the United States of America minor. We all know minority is a status, and it means child. America minor are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution for the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance and the accompanying obligations and treaties. This is the Pope telling you the truth. Mr. Obama is the president of a governmental service corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states and is on their payroll. What? He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary. He's Kenyan. He ain't black. Black is a status. He has a nationality. He's Kenyan. Minor at law. Yes, child. As a foreign dignitary representing the United States of America minor. In neither of these capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon American state citizens, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil, however veiled as federal civilian service agencies. We trying to get y'all to read, man. Y'all need to read these things, man, to know what's going on in your world politics. We require the Joint Chiefs of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civilian agency personnel and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States. Now here's where it gets tricky, right? So they're rogue. They are in breach of trust. They are not fulfilling their duties. They're injuring the estate, whom the Pope, he owns the corporate entity and beings and all the buildings and all of the service corporation members. He owns all of that. But the land and the indigenous people and the wealth that the indigenous people have, he doesn't own. And they're in breach of contract, so now the ability for the estate to amass wealth is being hindered. T-bonds are freezing up. They're killing people on the streets, being all belligerent, murdering people, hurting all of us, taking us to jail, detaining us, billing us, doing all type of fraudulent practices. And now the Pope is losing money. Well, he gets at them. He say, the only federal agency allowed free egress on the land of American states is the U.S. Marshal Service, and then only when their personnel are engaged in their duty to protect the U.S. mail. That's it. That's the only thing they're supposed to be doing. And sworn to act as constitutional officers. All other federal agencies' personnel are limited to unarmed service until further notice. Now, this was given back 4 years ago. So why aren't these service personnel disarmed? Why are they still walking around armed, murdering Moors on the street from this unjust, corrupt system, not even receiving any penalty? Grand Rising. Yes, I did, Noble Derek. And we're not gonna alter your answers to the Consular Court's questionnaire. You are your own individual. You answer that thing to the best of your ability for your studies. When we do submit it, we gonna submit it as is, and people gonna learn from it because you disciplined yourself enough to be able to do the work and give to the people. That some choose not to do the work, some are truly unable. We got either one's back. Until further notice, we direct the Joint Chiefs of Staff to communicate these first two general civil orders directly to Mr. Obama, the members of the U.S. Congress, the administrators of all federal agencies. Now, he has this federal in caps, in quotation marks. He say, administrators of all federal quotation. You know, federal, you service corporation members, you frauds. That's why he put those in quotations. Agencies, the members of the Supreme Court, in quotations, and those acting as governors, to compare their rapid understanding and cooperation. Y'all gotta listen to this thing because it gets super hot, man. He start burning them up. Any expense or damage incurred by these organic states or any American state citizen as a result of actions undertaken by any federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries. They are armed mercenaries. They don't care about you, Mr. European. They don't care about the Moor, Mr. Moore. They don't care about anything. They're armed mercenaries. Guess what their only thing to do is? They ain't obeying no laws. They don't know no constitution. They ain't enforcing no de jure government. They ain't there to honor you and serve you and protect you. They're corporate mercenaries. That's what he just said they are. So don't get it twisted. And as a corporate mercenary, if he walk up on you, you better be standing your ground, looking that corporate mercenary in their face, in their eyes, and letting him know you intolerable of injustice. Straight up. By any federal agency personnel acting as armed mercenaries on American state soil will be understood as the result of violent crimes committed against the peaceful inhabitants of the land and will incur immediate judgment liquidating the assets of the International Monetary Fund. Y'all heard that? Incur immediate judgment liquidating assets of the International Monetary Fund and the Federal Reserve in payment of the stipulated reparations. Such crimes shall also be considered contract default, increasing the public debt subject to bounty. All of y'all, I need a reference. Tuesday, I'm going to an interview to work with troubled youth. Inbox me if you desire to be a reference. All you got to say is, we built a relationship, a working relationship. I'm a good teacher. You know that I care about the people. I need to have 3 good references in order to get this position. So now, you have, such crimes shall also be considered contract default, increasing the public debt subject to bounty. Any and all corporate officers of the United States or any successor organizations inheriting federal services contracts who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American states or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest and prosecution for commercial and violent crimes. So, who's going to arrest them? Who is going to arrest federal service contracts, people who support, condone, or promote such crimes against American states or American state citizens? They shall be subject to arrest and prosecution for commercial and violent crimes. Who's going to arrest these people? Good morning, Lori Robson. I thank you for your wonderful work. I thank you for helping me and assisting the council in whatever way, shape, and form you can. You're a wonderful asset to the community as well. Hey, Aset, I'm glad you're feeling healthy and whole. I'm glad that you're on. I thank you for joining us. Let me tell you who's going to arrest them. Okay? Because this is what it just said. It said, any and all corporate officers of the United States or any successor organization inheriting federal service contract who support, condone, or promote such crimes against American states or against the American state citizens shall be subject to arrest and prosecution for commercial and violent crimes, period. Who's going to arrest them? Well, as a private investigator, I passed all my state exams. I passed my MMPI, my psychological exam, to be able to conceal, carry, and operate a firearm. And one of the things that they taught us in my licensed security training was that we as security officers, if we see different other legal entities disobeying the Constitution, we can make an arrest to them. We can arrest the citizen that's breaking the constitutional law. In Oklahoma, you can arrest as a citizen a police officer that's breaking the constitutional law. You can do a civilian arrest. You can also, as a private investigator, licensed, you have to be licensed, exercise arresting powers. Okay? So, we're going to arrest them. If they are breaking the law, if they are murdering your people, if they are violent and beating down your people, running up and stomping them in the face, 9, 10 people choking out a dude selling cigarettes, okay? 9, 10 police corporate entities, they're in breach and belligerent. And I'll read the belligerent codes to you, the 100, the Lieber codes. I'll read them. I'll show you what it says. It says that if they disobey an order from a superior officer, who is their superior officer? The Pope. Then they are subject to the firing squad, death on sight. Okay? So you arrest them. Bring some ties. Bring some of those zippy ties. And when they get to acting like they ain't got no damn sense, jump on them jokers and detain them. And leave them sitting there detained. Hog tie their feet and hog tie their hands and leave them sitting there. Don't be violent. Don't be stomping them out. Don't be doing all that crazy stuff they be doing. But leave them jokers right on the ground tied up. And let they because it is their partner's job and opportunity. They're supposed to be held accountable. Hey, Mr. Policy Enforcer, what you're doing ain't right. You need to leave these people alone. You will not get in trouble if you see a corporate policy mercenary person stomping somebody out and you 3, 4 Aboriginal indigenous Moors run up and restrain that officer, that corporate mercenary, that de facto person, and use your zip ties and zip tie his hands and his legs. I ain't saying fight with the man, take his gun, shoot him, mace him, and do all of that crazy stuff, tase him like he be tasing you, spraying you with pepper mace and all of that. No, don't do none of that to him. Just detain, all right? Prevent him from injuring the people, or them for that matter. Oh, we about to get hot. It's about to get real tight around here. Yeah, come on with it. All foreign officials operating as elected or appointed officials of the United States of America minor who support, condone, or promote such crimes against the American states or against American state citizens shall be subject to arrest, confiscation of their assets, and deportation to Puerto Rico and Guam. Now, I believe that Puerto Rico and Guam is the station where the service corporation is, the entity itself is. It'd be Puerto Rico and Guam. And such other states as may be willing to receive them. Man, y'all got to listen to this man. Hold on. Such foreign officials, he just called them foreign. Why? Because they occupying your land, right? They foreign. They from Europe or wherever it is they're from. Occupying El Morocco, doing business and commerce in El Morocco. They the foreign ones. You the indigenous of the land. Let's get it straight. We can't be deported from El Morocco. They can, though. Where they gonna send us? To our mother country? It's right here. I'm telling you. Include such foreign officials. Include members of the American and British Bar Associations who were licensed to act as privateers against the interest of the American states and American state citizens from 1845 to 2013 in flagrant breach of trust. Whose trust? We trusted them. They were trusted by the Sultan and by the Moors to administrate the estate. Not fraudulently, but good. With solid intentions, increase the estate. Leave the people alone, administer the estate, and give them their benefits. Y'all wouldn't have this land if we ain't open it up to you and allow you to operate in commerce. And now you're going to be sitting here. One of the scriptures say they boasting against the roots. No, we can't do that. All such licenses are now extinguished. What? So the Pope just extinguished all of their licenses, meaning that they don't even have a lawful or legal right to be operating in the capacities that they are. So they're still under a guise or like an apparition or an illusion then, right? To you. Because you think they got these licenses. They're an illusion. It's an illusion. They're putting on a suit and walking outside and pretending to be something they're not. And then they're taking FRN notes and paying these people with FRN notes, salaries and pensions and all of that. But he just said all their licenses is extinguished 4 years ago. Oh, okay. Let's find out. Let me find out. Let me find out. Okay. Members of the Bar Association are required to cease and desist assaults against the American states and American state citizens, and shall be subject to arrest, confiscation, and deportation otherwise. You need to bring this civil order everywhere you go. When you walk into those tribunals, when you go into the probate court, when you submitting your affidavits and your writ to these corporate members, you need to attach this document to all of your writs. Insomuch as corporate officers operating the United States of America Incorporated and the United States have contrived under conditions of fraud and semantic deceit to revenue the estates of the American states and living American state citizens to the foreign jurisdiction of the United States of America minor. Wait a second. Let's just analyze that and break it down. Insomuch as corporate officers operating the United States of America Incorporated, which the incorporation number is 1000009. Forgive me for my my last thing. Is 1000009. That's the incorporation number. And the United States have contrived under conditions of fraud and semantic deceit to revenue the estates of the American. They told you had an estate right there. That's what he just told you. The estates of the American states and living American state citizens to the foreign jurisdiction of the United States of America minor. They are found guilty of capital crimes. What happens when you found guilty of a capital crime? Deportation to your mother country, Europe, or death. That's just it. Unless you make right your wrongs real quick. Including acts of fraud and treason committed between 1933 and 45. Research those dates. Find out what they did. Find out who they sold the bankrupt America to. Find out Woodrow Wilson. Look into those specific dates, 1933 and 1945, and you're going to find out what fraud and treason they committed between 1933 and 1945 and are condemned posthumously. Y'all can write these definitions down if you don't know them. You can research them in this comment section. Posthumously. Insomuch as elected officials operating the United States of America minor have similarly committed war crimes against the United. He just told us that they were committing war crimes against the American states and their peaceful inhabitants during the same period. They stand condemned posthumously. Yeah, I appreciate that. No enforcement upon any American state or American state citizen is owed as a result of any, and he put it in quotes, act is in quotations, of any Congress operating as the sovereign government of the United States of America minor, nor as the board of directors or board of trustees of any incorporated entity whatsoever. So, operating as your board of trustees to your estate, wrong. Can we get it? Can we buy a vow, Vanna? Oh, Jeopardy, you got it wrong. You lost all your money. Now we got to go back to the drawing board. Okay. All those E states, put the E in parentheses, by the way, and estates in capital, erroneously believed to represent the American states and American state citizens, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America minor. Hold on a minute. Where am I at? Yeah, I got it right. I ain't backwards. Okay. All those estates and estates erroneously believed to represent the American states and American state citizens, which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America minor, and more recently to the city-state of the United Nations, and are revenued without exception to the geographically defined American states and American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful beneficiaries. Who? I'll wait. Who are the lawful and rightful beneficiaries? Please tell me. QSIP number Got one. Birth certificate. Oh, lawful beneficiary. Social security number. This number is established for whomever your name is. Oh, who's the lawful beneficiary? The holder in due course of the instrument that proves you are the heir to the estate. Your certificate of live birth. Thank you very much. Sometimes y'all gonna see me looking crazy. Sometimes y'all gonna see me together. Today I'm looking crazy because we tired of these COINTELPRO operatives. In the group, in the Consular Courts Northeast of Mexham group, I have removed all moderators. I have deleted the majority of the files except for primary ones for nationalization. Reason being, there are people that are taking all that we're doing and they're using it for their own selfish interest. Okay? We can't have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to test the fortitude and the backbone of these people that claim they walking with us, and they're going to have to prove themselves just like we do when we discipline ourselves and study. Otherwise, these people who think they can make a fast buck on FRN notes is going to jump in the group, download all the files, create some falsified packet, act like they know something, not even nationalize, and be cheating and taking the money from the Moors and from the consulates and from the consulars. Y'all dead. Y'all not finna do that. We protected around here. We got people everywhere watching everything, watching comments, watching, yes, it is the Moors. It's a lot of the Moors. It's a lot of people that's doing it. And it's Europeans up in there causing disunity too. That's schisms. That's COINTELPRO operative. It's a military term. Schisms mean divide and conquer. That's why I said don't sign anything, correct. Save for your own affidavits and writs, sign no contractual agreement, Mr. Oliver. Bonnie Matthews, rescind all contracts, sign nothing but your own affidavits. I'm ready to learn with you. Let's finish this letter up, and we're gonna go ahead and do this thing. All those e-states and states erroneously believed to represent the American states and the American state citizen, which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America Minor, and more recently to the city-state and of the United Nations, are revenued without exception to the geographically defined American states and American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful heirs. Now, all legal fiction entities, however structured and named after the American states and American state citizens, it said, and named after the legal fiction entities named after American states and American state citizens. Don't that tell you that your name is a corporate name? He say, hold on, this is what he just said. He said, all legal fiction entities, however structured and named after American states and American state citizens. That he just told you right there, that you a legal fiction entity by way of your corporate name. All caps, straw man name, comma, state, birth certificate, social security card, QSIP number, all of those fictitious instruments, marriage bonds, bank bonds, your titles, your allodial titles to your deeds of your home, all of that. That's what he just said. Oh, buddy, he telling truth. That's why he did it. Are returned to them and their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, encumbrance, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America, Inc. Now, what did he just say? He said, all the debt, clear, obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf. So you got these trustees, you got this American Bar Association, you got these de facto judges, you got these people with all your information who take your signature and they go into your Treasury Direct account and they clear whatever debt that they have. They accept your FRNs as a de-donus, a gift, and they're liquidating your property right now as we speak. Oh, and they're making promises to people. What are these promises? T-bonds, promises to pay, debt notes, promise to pay. We're going to promise, we're going to promise, we're going to pledge. And they're pledging in your name, in your corporate name. That's what these trustees are doing. They're not pledging in their name. They're pledging in your corporation name, under your social security number, using your QSIP number, using your financial instruments. That's what they're doing, pledging to pay a debt that they put on themselves. Oh, okay. Well, you ain't pledged on my behalf. I ain't say that. As a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America, Inc. and the United States Incorporated, or by any foreign officials operating the United States of America minor, or the United Nations city-state, falsely claiming to represent them or have jurisdiction over them. We note that the current circumstance is in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 150 years ago, which resulted in commercial enslavement of African Americans. What? That's what he just told you the truth 150 years ago, which resulted in commercial enslavement. Well, how did they commercially enslave you? They took all your gold, they took all your minerals, they took all your land, they slapped a monetary value to it, they took that monetary value, they placed it on a documentation or in a computer somewhere, they gave you a birth certificate and a QSIP number and a social security number to track your financial wealth, and then they operated and performed trustee dutyship over it. That's what they've been doing for 150 years. Commercially enslaving you, making you the debt slave. Oh, really? Who were summarily claimed as chatels backing U.S. government debt in the wake of the Civil War. Despite every act of abolition and declaration of prohibition against both peonage and slavery, it has been the policy of the U.S. government, in quotes, to enslave its citizens and to operate as a rogue states among the nations of the world. What? The document, Bonnie Matthews, is your birth certificate. That is your proof, holder in due course, that you are the heir to your estate. That birth certificate has a QSIP number. You research QSIP number and you will find that it's a financial transaction number that is directly linked to your account. Thank you, Lori Robson. I'll be off topic. The document that I'm reading is the civil orders, 2014 civil orders sent from the Pope to Barack Obama. It has been the policy of the U.S. government to enslave its citizens and operate as a rogue state among the nations of the world. Instead of freeing African Americans, the sum total result of the Civil War was to vastly expand public sector ownership of slaves. Not the bodies anymore, but the wealth, the financial instruments. Not the people themselves, but the wealth. Oh, really? Giving rise to the outrageous and improper claims that have been made against the American states and the American state citizens that we are dealing with today. It is uniquely fitting that the Grand Army of the Republic is recalled to settle this circumstance in favor of the people. Then he states, the right to act comes with the responsibility to act. If you claiming you got these rights and you are certain them, then you are responsible to act. If you're professing rights, inalienable rights, constitutional rights, then it is your responsibility to act on those. This notice is by my hand and upon my civil authority, set this 4th day of July 2014. Now this is his secretary's signature, but I promise you that's his thumbprint. I promise you that's the Pope's thumbprint. Okay, that's good. Anna Marie Wilhelmina Hannah Sophia Risinger Vaughn, Pope Francis, in care of Box, Big Lake, Alaska, Undersea. Copies to Joint Chiefs of Staff, Major General David E. Quantack, and other interested parties. It has his stamp, signed under seal, David E. Robinson, Grand Jury Foreman Pro Tem. So look at that word pro tem as well and find out what that means. Now after all of that, you have the civil orders. Now you have the civil orders. You can look up the Lieber codes for the belligerent trustees, Lieber codes, the 100 general order. You understand, if you don't start obeying your responsibility to act, and when these policy enforcers are tripping out here for you to do something about it, then your people gonna continue getting murdered. This goes for the entire family. I'm talking about Europeans, Moors, mixed, whatever you want to call yourselves. It's for all the people. It says, I didn't speak, and it happened to this person. I didn't speak, and it happened to this person. Part of speaking is action. Part of speaking is vibratory. Words are vibrations. You have to act on what you're talking about. You have to apply it. These policy enforcers are in there. They're beating your people down. They're taking your money. They're kidnapping your children. They're stealing your vehicles, impounding them, and refusing to give them to you until you get insurance that you don't need, because you can't convert a policy into a law, a constitutional law. That's your private mode of conveyance. That's why you have to put it in trust. If you put your private mode of conveyance in trust, the EIN number, and you put a document in your trust document, they are forbidden. They can't lawfully touch it. That's what the prophet wants. Active. Yes, we're going to remain active. This is the order of the day. Nationality and active constitutional law enforcement. Act 1 of the prophet. We got to read Act 1. That's the very first step. Once all of us are behaving in Act 1, we'll do more damage with Act 2. I appreciate y'all. If y'all comment what y'all want to hear about or be taught about, I'll research it, I'll get the laws, and I'll come see y'all. Peace and love to you. I'll be back with you. Use those Libra codes. Attach them to your writs. Attach them to your affidavits. It puts more force and power.